Salvete! Greetings everybody, this is Latin with Stephen. Welcome to another one of my videos. This is a beginner's course, and in today's lesson I want to talk about relative clauses. Oh yes, we're going for it today. I have touched on this subject in some of the earlier videos, I think in units 1 or 2 perhaps, but I want to recap that today and also add another layer of detail. So a relative clause, what's that? Well, it contains information that relates back to something that's been said in the main clause, but best to elucidate this by means of an example. Here we go. The boy who works in the garden is happy. The boy who works in the garden is happy. Main clause is what? The boy is happy. The boy, subject, nominative, is, verb of being, happy, complement, adjective. Who works in the garden? So this information is extra. It's been inserted. The sentence makes perfect sense without it. The boy is happy. The boy who works in the garden. So this is our relative clause. The who is your pronoun, the relative pronoun, and it relates back to what? To the boy. The boy then is what we call the antecedent, spelled A-N-T-E, ante meaning before. Comes before, and the relative relates back to it. Alright, so the relative pronoun stands in place of the boy who works in the garden. In English we can say who for a person, or that, or which, the film which I enjoy, the book that I am reading. But for a person here it's who, the boy who works in the garden is happy. Now, the boy is happy, that's nominative case, subject is doing, is being. And in the relative clause, who works in the garden? Well, who works? Who's doing the working? The boy is. The who stands in place of the boy. And so that's also nominative. There's no direct object there. So in both the main clause, the boy is happy, nominative, and who works in the garden is doing the action, therefore subject, nominative. So the boy and the who are nominative in both cases here. So in order to use a relative pronoun in Latin, we need the correct gendered form. So for nominative singular, we have qui for masculine, be it a person or a masculine noun, a thing. Remember, a book, liber is masculine. The book which, for instance, would require the masculine pronoun, which is qui. Feminine, quae, person or thing. Neuter noun, quod. Qui, quae, quod. Qui, quae, quod. Qui, quae, quod. Here it's qui. The boy who works in the garden is happy. It's main clause. Let's do it in Latin together. Puer est, full of light, full of goodness. Light, happy. Lightos. If you look at it in the dictionary, it would present it to you in the masculine singular form. Lightos. Happily here we have a boy, and we can just leave it like that. Puer lightos. Puer est lightos. Puer lightos est. Main clause. Let's insert the relative, which is adjectival in nature, because it's telling us about the person. We can manage without it, but who works in the garden, it further limits the application of the noun, doesn't it? The boy, not just any boy, but the boy who works in the garden. It's giving us more specific information. Therefore it's adjectival. And we're going to say qui, because it's male, singular, nominative. Qui in horto works, labors, laborat, from laborare, laboro, laboras, laborat. Qui in horto laborat. Puer, qui in horto laborat, lightos est. Main clause. Puer lightos est. Relative clause. Qui in horto laborat. Puer, nominative. He est, he is. Qui, nominative. He's laborat, he's doing the work. He's in charge of the verb, is the subject. Okay, let's try a feminine one. So we've had qui, now we're going to use quae. Let's go to a girl. What's my sentence? The girl who sits in the atrium is reading a book. The girl who sits in the atrium is reading a book. Main clause. The girl is reading or reads a book. Puella. The noun is liber. like a library, right? Liber, but accusative, librum. Legit, from legere, lego, legis, legit. It's legible, legit. Puella legit. She reads puella librum legit. Puella librum legit. Insert the relative clause, adjectival. Who sits or is sitting in the atrium? Sits is sedet from sedere. Quae sedet in atrio. Quae in atrio sedet. Puella, quae in atrio sedet, librum legit. Main clause. Puella librum legit. Puella is the nominative. Relative clause. Quae in atrio sedet. Quae is also nominative because she's doing the sitting. It can't be an object. There's no one else. She's in charge of the sitting. She's doing it. Puella quae in atrio sedet, librum legit. So we've had qui, we've had quae. Neuter, guys, is quod. Qui, quae, quod. If you followed the other videos, you may have remembered this somewhere in the fog, somewhere in the distant memory. Qui, quae, quod. What can we have that's quad? What was a neuter? Well, second declension nouns ending in and neuter. We had bellum for war. We had donum for a present, a gift, a bit like a donation. We had vinum, the wine. I think we're going to use the word templum. All right, the temple, templum. And my sentence is this: the temple which stands in the forum is big. The temple which stands in the forum is big. Main clause. The temple is big. Templum est. Can you remember? Well, the dictionary form will give you the masculine, which is magnus, but templum est magnum. You've got to make it agree because it's neuter, gender, singular, nominative case. Templum magnum est. Or est magnum. Templum magnum est. Right. Insert the relative. Which, quod, stands in the forum. In foro, ablative, from the verb stare, like dare, sto, star, stat. It stands. Templum stat. Templum quod in foro stat. Magnum est. Templum quod in foro stat. Magnum est. Main clause. Templum, nominative. Magnum est. Relative clause. Quod in foro stat. Quod being also nominative case, the subject, because it's doing the standing. There's nothing else, no one else there. It's doing the standing, so it's subject case. So we've had qui, quae, quod in our three examples. Now, sometimes the relative pronoun, which is standing in place of the related to the antecedent. So we had the boy, didn't we? The boy who works in the garden is happy. Now, sometimes, even though the boy was a subject of the main clause, the boy is happy, in the relative clause, which is inserted, he might be the object. Let me give you an example in English. The boy whom I see works in the garden. The boy whom I see works in the garden. So, main clause, the boy works in the garden. He's working, so it's the subject. But let's examine that relative clause. Whom I see, what's the verb? See. Who's doing the seeing? I am. So I'm the nominative. And whom am I seeing? Well, him. So he's the direct object. So in this case, the whom, which we express it in English, don't we? We change who to whom, is object case. It's accusative. Because it's receiving, undergoing the action. And so we have here a vestige, a remnant of the case system that existed in English, which you see in Old English or Anglo-Saxon. We certainly had a case system with inflections and even grammatical gender, believe it or not. So, but it's all been simplified somehow over time, and we don't bother with those things. But we do have a few remnants, and whom for the object is one of them. So the boy who works in the garden, he's doing it, subject. The boy whom I see, whom I know, whom I praise, I'm doing it to him, therefore he's the object, therefore we've made a slight adjustment. Alright, so same thing applies in Latin, as you might guess. So qui, quae, quod, nominative. Quem, masculine. Quam, feminine. Quod, neuter. Thankfully the neuter always stays the same. It's the same with the nouns. A neuter noun is the same in the accusative. Bellum, bellum. Weenum, weenum, donum, donum. All right, but quem, quam, quod. So qui, qui, quod, nominative, subject, quem, quam, quod, object. So let's go to this one. The boy whom I see works in the garden. Main clause, puer in horto laborat. Puer in horto laborat. Whom I see, not qui, quem. Quem ego video. The ego's optional, but I'm just sticking it in there. Quem video, quem ego video. Whom I see. Sometimes, nonum quam. Quem ego nonum quam video. Saipe, often. Quem saipe video. Main clause. Puer in horto laborat. The puer is the subject because he's doing the working. Nominative case. Relative clause. Whom I see. Quem ego video. Quem is the accusative. And you might have sentences where the antecedent may well be the accusative in the main clause, but then it's a subject of the relative clause. So for instance, we could say something like, I know the boy, so I know him, I know the boy, main clause, who lives on this street. So in that sentence, I know the boy, who stands for the boy. Now he was the object of the main clause, but now who lives on this street, who's doing the living, he's doing the living, so it's the subject of the relative clause. So you have to watch out, sometimes they can be different. Let's do a feminine. So qua is going to become quam. The girl whom I greet, using salutare, reads the book. The girl whom I greet reads or is reading a book. Main clause. Puella librum legit. Puella librum legit. Insert the subordinate clause. Whom I greet. Quam saluto. Quam ego saluto. Puella. Quam ego saluto. Librum legit. Main clause. Puella, nominative. Librum legit. She's reading it. Subordinate relative clause. Quam ego saluto. Quam, relative in the accusative case, because I'm greeting her as an object. Let's do a neuter. This time it's not going to change. Quad's still going to stay quad, but we need to be aware of it for the other cases, for the other genders, sorry, so that we know to make the change. So we had our temple, right? The temple which we love stands in the forum. Amare. Do you remember that verb? Amo, amas, amat. Amamos, amatis, amant. We love amamos. The temple that we love stands in the forum. Main clause. Templum in foro. That's ablative because it's place where. Stat from stare. Sto star stat. It stands. Stat. Templum stat. Templum, nominative case. In foro stat. It's doing the standing, so it's in charge of the verb subject. Relative clause. Which or that we love. Quad neuter. Amamos. Quod amamos. You can say nos, we, but it's not necessary. It's redundant because the us amamos can only possibly mean we. Templum quod amamos in foro stat. Main clause. Templum in foro stat. Templum is nominative here. Quod amamos. It's actually accusative there, the quad, because we are loving it, even though the word itself, the quad, hasn't changed. All right. So qui, qui, quad, nominative. Quem, quam, quad. Again, qui, qui, quad, quem, quam, quad. Qui, qui, quad, quem, quam, quad. So I hope that's useful, guys. Just a short introduction. Just really got to analyze a sentence and think who's doing what, because sometimes a relative clause, the case of the relative pronoun might be different to the case of the actual antecedent in the main clause. So just watch out for that one. Qui, qui, quad, quem, quam, quad. So I'm going to come back soon with another video. We're going to take this a little bit further, and I look at perhaps the genitive case, which would convey the idea of whose, the master, whose money, the matron, whose dress, or something like that. All right, so that's what's coming next. Thanks, guys, for watching this. Let me know how you're getting on with these videos. Give me a like, please, if you found it useful and helpful. Feel free to put a comment in, tell me where you're learning from, say hi, and please do share the videos and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, that's enough for this one, so I'll see you very soon. Walete.